15 Most Valuable Vintage Planters Peanut Jars, Collection Guide. Dating back to 1906, the Planters Peanut Company has been around for over a century. The brand's popularity, however, exploded in 1916 when the company invested in the creation of the Mr. Peanut mascot. Today, there is an extremely active market for Mr. Peanut memorabilia ranging from jars and posters to dolls and more. Planters peanut enthusiasts often gather online on websites like Peanut Pals and at conventions to trade, buy, and sell these collectibles. In particular, Planters peanut jars are some of the most sought-after collectibles. Depending on the year of manufacture, condition, and design, a valuable vintage Planters peanut jar can set you back $100 to over $370. In this detailed guide, we will take a deeper look at the 15 most valuable vintage Planters peanut jars. 15 highly valued vintage Planters peanut jars. 1. Release date, the 1930s. Price, $375. Dating back to the 1930s, the football Planters peanut jar measures 9 inches tall and 8 inches wide. The vintage Planters peanut jar does not have any signs of wear. The glass, however, does have some straw marks and air bubbles indicative of depression glass used in its manufacture period. Currently, on sale on eBay, the football Planters peanut jar has a price tag of $375 attached to it. 2. Release date, the 1930s. Price, $355. Produced in the United States in the early 1930s, this Planters peanut jar was designed to display nuts and candy on general store counters. Etched on the glass are words indicating the jar was designed for use with nut house goods only. The jar also carries an interesting drawing of a house. The Planters peanut jar is 12 inches tall and 9.5 inches wide. Although the seller indicates that it does not have its original lid, the jar is still one of the most expensive pieces we found on eBay. Currently, the jar is selling at $355. 3. Release date, the 1940s. Price, $349. Designed for the display of nuts and candy, this Planters peanut jar is made of clear glass. Produced in the United States, the jar dates back to the 1940s. The Planters peanut jar has the word Planters embossed in a special design on its side. On its lid, the jar has an image of the Mr. Peanut mascot and words that indicate its ability to keep peanuts fresh at all times. The jar features a special design with at least 6 corners. To get this vintage Planters peanut jar from eBay, you will have to part with $349.99. 4. Planters Mr. Release date, the 1940s. Price, $295. An 8-side advertising jar, this Planters Mr. Peanut jar features embossed words on 7 of 8 sides. One of the larger Planters peanut jars we found online, this glass jar is 10.25 inches tall and has a width of 8.25 inches. An original vintage collectible from the 1940s, the jar is still in good condition and does not feature major signs of wear and tear. Currently, the jar is listed on eBay at $295. 5. Release date, the 1930s. Price, $275. Dating back to the 1930s, this vintage Planters peanut jar is still intact, has minimal signs of wear, and is still carrying its original lid. The vintage jar has a special design that gives it the appearance of a peanut. What's more, it has peanuts embossed on its sides. Designed for displaying nuts and candy, the peanut jar is clear. The jar is 14 inches tall and the seller indicates it has 4 corners all around it. To get this USA manufactured Planters peanut jar, you will have to spend $275 on eBay. 6. Release date, 1917. Price, $249. One of the oldest vintage Planters peanut jars we found online, this jar was manufactured in 1917. Designed to facilitate store counter display, the jar is made of clear glass. According to the seller, the jar stands at 13 inches tall and is 10 inches wide. It carries a bronze label that is marked with red and white. Despite being 100 plus years old, the jar is still in ideal condition and does not have any signs of wear and tear. Currently listed on eBay, this jar is selling at $249.99. 7. Release date, the 1930s. Price, $235. Also known as the fishbowl jar, this Planters peanut jar was produced between 1930 and 1940. Designed to facilitate the display of candy and peanuts on countertops, the jar is 100% clear. The peanut jar is 8.5 inches tall and 7 inches wide. According to the seller, the jar is in great condition and only features some minimal chips on its top edge. The Planters peanut jar has a price tag of $235 attached to it. 8. Release date, the 1940s. Price, $225. Dating back to the 1940s, this Planters peanut jar was originally designed for selling peanuts in red pennant bags. Produced with depression glass, the jar's glass has air bubbles. The vintage piece weighs 7 pounds and is approximately 13 inches tall. Currently listed on eBay, the vintage Planters peanut jar is selling at $225. 9. Release date, the 1940s. Price, $225. A rare specimen, this vintage Planters peanut jar was manufactured in the early 1940s. One thing that separates this specimen from other jars is the fact that it comes with an original wooden lid. Originally designed to hold 5-cent peanut bags, the jar is 12 inches tall and 8 inches wide. Currently listed on eBay, the vintage jar can be acquired at $225. 10. Release date, 1937. Price, $200. Produced in the USA, this vintage Planters peanut jar has been around since 1937. The jar is in excellent condition and does not feature cracks or chips. However, the seller indicates that it has straw marks and bubbles that indicate the depression glass manufacturing technology utilized between 1929 and the 1940s. Currently listed on eBay, you can get the jar at $200. 11. Mr. Release date, the 1930s. Price, $199. Produced in the 1930s, this vintage Planters peanut jar was manufactured with depression glass. For this reason, you should expect some straw marks and air bubbles on the glass. Apart from the manufacturer's defects, the seller indicates that the vintage jar has minimal signs of wear and tear. Designed to display peanuts and candy, this jar is clear. However, it does carry part of its original gold label that is printed in red and black. Sitting in the medium value range, this vintage Planters peanut jar is selling at $199. 12. Planters peanut jar with Mr. Release date, the 1950s. Price, $199. A rare vintage Planters peanut jar, this specimen features a replacement wooden lid and comes with a Mr. Peanut mascot. According to the seller, the specimen has a height of 11 inches and a width of 8 inches. Dating back to the 1950s, the Planters peanut jar is still in near perfect condition, with only minor signs of wear and tear. Currently listed on eBay, this vintage Planters peanut jar is worth $199. 99. 13. Planters Mr. Release date, the 1940s. Price, $195. A specimen from the 1940s, this vintage Planters peanut jar has been around for more than 7 decades. Despite being around for such a long time, the jar is still in near ideal condition. Its white lid has lost some of its original colors but still shows all the labeling clearly, including the Mr. Peanut mascot. This vintage Planters peanut jar is 9.5 inches tall and has a width of 7.5 inches. Interested collectors can get the jar on eBay at $195. 14. Planters Mr. Release date, the 1950s. Price, $180. Produced in the 1950s, this vintage Planters peanut jar is in near perfect condition. The seller reports that the only sign of wear on the jar is a fading label. The jar's label indicates that it can be used for storing salted peanuts, jumbo blocks, sandwiches, and peanut butter. To use this vintage Planters peanut jar at home, you can purchase it for $180 on eBay. 15. Release date, the 1940s. Price, $150. Produced in the 1940s to facilitate the display of nuts and candy on countertops, this vintage Planters peanut jar is clear. The jar, however, is embossed with words on its sides. The vintage jar features a specialized design, with its storage part becoming narrower as one moves down. According to the seller, the jar is in good condition. The vintage jar is currently selling at $150 on eBay. Frequently asked questions, FAQs. How did the Planters Peanut Company rise to fame? Planters Peanut Company was established by Amedeo Obici and Mario Peruzzi in 1906. The company became notable within a short period after doing away with skins, husks, and shells of peanuts. The company only distributed the easy-to-eat parts of the nut. When was the Mr. Peanut mascot introduced? Mr. Peanut, the yellow peanut-shaped man sporting a cane and a monocle with a top hat, is one of the most recognizable tools of advertisement utilized by the Planters Peanut Company. This mascot was dreamed up for the first time in 1916 by a 13-year-old boy by the name of Antonio Gentile. Antonio submitted the mascot in a sketch and won $5 for the design. Later, a commercial artist added a cane and monocle to Mr. Peanut, turning the sketch into the mascot that everyone is familiar with today. Can I find vintage Planters peanut jars at a price below $100? While the most valuable vintage Planters peanut jars are worth over $100, you can still find jars selling at just a few dollars. For example, on eBay, we found a 75th anniversary Planters peanut jar selling at $3.99. A second jar produced in 1982 was selling at $4.50. What are the factors that affect the cost of vintage Planters peanut jars? Some of the factors that make one vintage Planters peanut jar cost over $100 and another cost under $5 include: age. The oldest Planters peanut jars have the highest price. For example, a peanut jar from the 1930s will be costlier than one manufactured in the 1980s. The oldest Planters peanut jars have the highest price. For example, a peanut jar from the 1930s will be costlier than one manufactured in the 1980s. Condition. Old peanut jars in perfect condition will be costlier than similar peanut jars featuring cracks and other major signs of wear. Old peanut jars in perfect condition will be costlier than similar peanut jars featuring cracks and other major signs of wear. Design. While almost all vintage Planters peanut jars are made of clear glass, some have more interesting designs. For example, some have a design that mimics a real-life peanut. Jars with interesting designs will be costlier than those with ordinary designs. Conclusion. It is a cliché to say that most collectors go nuts for Planters peanut collectibles. However, this is true. After being around for over a century, the Planters peanut brand has unknowingly created a large number of collectibles. Among these collectibles are peanut jars. The most valuable Planters peanut jars can set you back over $370. However, if you are short on cash but still want to use Planters peanut jars, you can buy jars manufactured in the 1980s for less than $10.